A warm welcome to the show. A brand new cultural space has just opened its doors in Warsaw. Pawilon Tańca, or Dance Pavilion, is the latest project from the Museum of Modern Art, dedicated entirely to contemporary dance and choreography. The venue has been launched as a year-long pilot, with its future depending on how well it is received by audiences. If successful, it will become a permanent fixture in the capital's cultural landscape. Joining us now to talk about this vision is Renata Piotrowska-Auffret, curator of the Dance Pavilion. Hello and welcome, delighted to have you with us, and congratulations on the grand opening.
Hello, thank you very much.
So could you tell us, how did the idea for the Dance Pavilion come about?
Actually, the initiative to have a dance pavilion is from community of dance and choreography together with a City Hall of Warsaw. The idea is to have a pilot program in 2026 in order to show to City Hall and politicians that the place actually is needed. And it is so true that it is needed. We are fighting as a community of dance and choreography since almost 100 years for that place. I remember the last 30 years, I was engaged for the last 30 years to lobby for a venue. Why? Because the art of dance and choreography, it is an autonomous art, and that's our main aim for the pilot program, to show that this is an autonomous art and deserves a space. And also the public is very huge and diverse and dispersed all over Warsaw. So actually the pilot program is becoming an address, it's becoming a venue, and finally the dance has its own address and space.
But what is the mission of the pavilion? Because you also try to attract audiences not only to watch performances, but also for them to dance, right?
Exactly.
Themselves.
We have three main aims. We want the place to be open, first of all. Open means dynamic, being able to listen to people who are coming, asking questions, sharing their needs related to dance, body and choreography. We want also the place to be diverse, in the sense of we do it through different collaborations with the initiatives, institutions and organizations from Warsaw, from Poland, and also international. And we really want the place to be accessible, inclusive for different ages, people with different needs, and that's what we are doing through the program. And through what kind of formats we are doing it? Of course, as you mentioned, through showing performances, not only local and from Poland, but also worldwide known, such as for the opening we had Christos Papadopoulos with his last work, My Fierce Ignorant Step. We also have a large educational program. It's called Educational Tuesdays, so it's a cycle. Every Tuesday we're gonna have classes for professionals, but also open for public without any experience, as well as for families, for example, with the youngest children from 6 months, also for teenagers or seniors. So the educational program is also very large, doesn't matter the experience. And we also, the third format or the third sphere we are having in the pilot program is parties. Different formats which are inviting people to dance on our dance floor.
And on your opening night, you featured a party that was multi-generational, from kids to elderly people, but also people in drag.
Yes.
So that's quite brave. How did this idea originate?
Exactly. The last day, actually we had 4 days of opening. The first 2 nights was the show mentioned by Greek choreographer. The third night there was a more performative musical event with the Ephemera Festival, which is a very known Warsaw festival with techno music. And the last day, exactly you mentioned, is a bal populaire, popular ball, where we invited the initiatives which are already existing for many years in Warsaw, such as disco for families, dancing for seniors, and the voguing ballroom from ballroom culture. The dream was exactly to somehow try to find alliances, to combine those different communities, because they do have one thing in common. They love to dance, all of them. So they love to be in dancing with others while listening to the music. And I must admit, because that was my curatorial day, and I was extremely touched while seeing, on the same dance floors, in the same moment, seniors, people over not only 60 but 80 years old, for example, the Vogue dancers and the children with parents. That was very touching, really.
So what was the feedback from the audiences?
Very enthusiastic. Somehow it's difficult still to verbalize it because we are just finished the opening, but extremely enthusiastic. We had around 1,300 people coming for the opening, so that was really a huge interest. So somehow we are overwhelmed by the interest and by the visibility, but also extremely happy and also a bit exhausted, I must admit.
Mm-hmm. And so what is the role of the City of Warsaw in this project?
City of Warsaw is the organizer of the project, of the pilot program, and one of two initiators together with the dance and choreography community. In the future, City Hall will have consultations still with the dance and choreography community in order to lobby to politicians to establish independent venue and space for dance and choreography. Because as you mentioned at the beginning, for now it's a branch of Museum of Modern Art in Warsaw, and the idea of pilot program is not only to show the autonomy of the dance and choreography, but also to lobby for autonomous space and venue.
And why was this particular space, this pavilion by the Vistula River, why was it chosen, and will it be your permanent space if successful?
Yes, it will be our permanent space. That was the moment of coincidence, actually, because the Museum of Modern Art was moving out from that building with the exposition space into a new building at Marszałkowska Street. And that was a very intense moment of dance and choreography community lobbying for a space. So somehow City Hall, together with a vice president, Aldona Machnowska-Góra, thought that, okay, maybe we could change the function of that building, make a renovation, prepare it for performative art, dance and choreography, and maybe that could be a dance venue. And that happened, actually. The City Hall invested a budget to change the function. There is a wooden floor for a dance and choreography. There is a technique. We have an audience. We have acoustic walls and furniture. So it really completely changed the inside of the building, changed completely.
Also, other groups were interested in this particular space, and from what I gathered, you've managed to outcompete photographers. So why is contemporary dance more important than photography, is it?
I don't want to compare the fields. I'm rather in the role of as a also choreographer, because my education, I'm also a choreographer. Now I work as a curator, but my field is choreographic. I just believe in the autonomy of that art, because dance and choreography is connected to the body, and we are all related to our own bodies. I think also the value of dance and choreography is on the social level. How we build up the relations with the others. You know, nowadays in the reality, which is with a huge problem of lack of relations, live relations. We are a lot in front of our screens, in virtual reality, somehow disconnected from our bodies. I think that the dance and choreography can play a major role here in giving to the society the tools to develop the live relations, connection with your own body, but also with the others. I really believe in that, and knowing that we are fighting for that space, not only as a community, but also as a public. The opening showed how huge interest is in Warsaw for the space. I feel that we deserve, which does not mean that I think that photography does not deserve, you know?
By all means, I know that your project is socially conscious, as you've mentioned, but I was wondering, what are your plans for this year to make sure that you're able to stay there?
Of course, our plan is somehow formed by the rules of the open call we won, which was formed by the organizer, City Hall of Warsaw. So, of course, that we have a numbers of events we need to do, of course, but we are there. We are calm about that. I'm not worried that we will not make those numbers. I think the question is what will be next? How many people will be coming for educational program? Are we able to establish because regularity of events, it's not a given. This is something a venue needs to have time to develop. Because people from Warsaw needs to understand that in the venue, which was before the exposition place, there's something else. And fortunately, we have this huge neon dance on the building, which is visible actually from bridges next to the building. So somehow in the consciousness of the people living in Warsaw, we believe that the sign is very strong and that this can also bring the audience to our venue. But of course, it's about interesting program, it's about communication, promotion, and I feel that we are on the good way. But we don't know how it will be actually. We will be experimenting during the whole year, and probably more we're gonna know in the June, July, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of audiences are you hoping to attract? Everyone?
Yes, in some idealistic way, yes. Of course, it is tricky to say that the Dance Pavilion is for everyone, but we really do try to invest in the accessibility, not only as an infrastructure, for example, that people on the wheelchairs can come, but also for families, for example, for children. We're gonna have propositions for children. We're gonna have propositions for all elderly people or for teenagers. And we also think about the program as something which is this multi-generational audience, which is interesting for us, that it's not only audience, but also participants. So we also, for example, we're gonna make a project, artistic project with teenagers, yes? So we try to engage people in different roles also in the Dance Pavilion.
And what about artists that you're planning to invite?
Yes, so from the worldwide known choreography, we had Christos Papadopoulos with My Fierce Ignorant Step. We're gonna have Sasha Waltz with INC, a very known choreographer. We're gonna host for the first time in Poland, Idio Shishawa from Mozambique in Africa with the show Vagabundus. This is extremely, with a great success show all over the Europe and the world. We also are planning by the end of the year to have an iconic choreographer, very known from postmodern dance, American choreographer Lucinda Childs, with her the most iconic piece from the 60s, which is Dance. This is worldwide choreography. Then we will also host premieres of local artists from Warsaw and also from Poland. The closest premiere is by the end of January. Paweł Sakowicz, also very known choreographer, not only in Poland, but also in Europe, with his newest work, Storm. This is a co-production with Vilnius, so it's our international co-production. We're gonna host also a premiere in February of Alex Borys, another choreographer, which is a co-production with Gdańsk, Cultural Center from Gdańsk. So our premieres of local artists or Polish artists are on the, I believe, the highest artistic level possible.
An absolutely packed schedule.
Yes.
But before we go, one last question. Do similar initiatives exist elsewhere in Europe?
Yes, in Europe, yes. Many capitals, European capitals, have or dance houses, choreographic centers in France, different names, but yes, of course, they do have. In Germany, in Belgium, in France, in Romania, in Hungary, in Italy, in different countries. So we are very happy that we can have also such a space. Also in Poland, lately, there is a new established venue, choreographic center, first choreographic center in Lublin. So somehow we are on the good path, and I think that politicians, because not only audience and society which loves art, yes, but also politicians start to see that this art is an autonomous art and deserves the space separated.
And it is certainly a positive development.
Yes.
And on this note, we're going to conclude. Renata Piotrowska-Auffret, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Pulse of Culture. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.